What's going on, guys? It's Cimo. It is currently 5 a.m. at the time of recording this. I got a notification that the OCG Banlist has currently just dropped. I apologize for looking completely disheveled and being 80% asleep because it's way too early to be up for this, but you know, it's Banlist season. The OCG Banlist is something that we always look forward to seeing. And I just have to take a look, and hopefully I got up for a good reason. I haven't seen the list yet, full disclosure. I just got a notification that it is out, and just like with the regular ban list, I want to try to bring you it as fast as I can. So let's go ahead and get into it. I need to go actually over to the website because I haven't even gotten there yet. Actually, before I do that, what I want to do is I want to start by going to Road of the King. For anyone who doesn't know, Road of the King is a great resource for anyone who wants to look at the OCG. They put up some great articles, not sponsored by them or anything, but it's nice to get like an insight into how the OCG's format looks, especially since, you know, English translations of the OCG format are sometimes hard to come by. Yeah, we can get like deck lists, but this is like a really cool thing that they do every week to kind of show the breakdown, and they always change the pie chart and stuff, similar to the meta analysis I do. So I want to start here because I want to showcase how their meta is so different than ours. So in their meta, Virtual World is just reigning supreme. This has been the case for the last several weeks. Like, it's just Virtual World's just been increasing its dominance. Like, I think last week it might have been like 15%, but now you see this week it's just all over the place. Eldritch is at 15%. Dogmatica Invoked is at almost 9%. Dragon Maid, oddly enough, is like going up there. Thunder Dragon, Prank Kid, Tempest Magician, FTK. Thank God we don't have to deal with that, by the way. Shadal, and then just other stuff as well. But for the most part, like, their meta is like predominantly like Virtual World, Eldritch, like Dogmatica Invoked. You can scroll down here, you can see some of the deck lists. This looks like exactly what we have here in the TCG, except we don't have Crossout Designator or the new pot from Blazing Vortex. So it's at Max C as well. But for the most part, the deck is like pretty cookie cutter. So it's exactly the same over there as it is here. I mean, the extra deck's almost like identical. Let's just go ahead and scroll down here quickly. For the Eldritch deck, it's Zodiac Eldritch. We know that this is a very strong contender. This might be one of the strongest decks of our current TCG format. So it's cool to see that it's, I think it started doing better over there before we started seeing it over here. And then Dogmatica Invoked. Dogmatica Invoked has been good in the OCG for like months, like on end. It's been like one of their top like tier 1 decks. And then just like a little conclusion there. But that just gives you guys some insight, because for anyone who may not be unfamiliar with the OCG's format, I want you guys to at least have some context so that once we go into these ban list hits, we can make a little bit more of like an educated decision. So I'm actually going to leave this up just so we can use it back for reference. And so let's go ahead and go to Beyond the Duel, another fellow YouTuber who actually has their own website and typically is where I go to for other OCG related stuff. Again, just shouting out everyone in this video, I suppose. And here we go. Again, like, just going based off that, they're probably going to hit Virtual World, right? But is Virtual World still too new? I mean, it's hard to say. They've had it out longer in the OCG. I mean, we see Grinder Golem here, so I'm imagining they banned that card finally. That card's been at 1 for I don't know how. They've had that card at 1, I think, since like Spiral format too. And like, I don't even know how they've allowed this card to exist. Granted, it hasn't been played, but all right, let's not wait any longer. Let's get into it. I don't even know what to expect. Excuse me? Please. This is a joke, right? OCG January 2021 limit regulation changes. Why? What the fuck are they doing? Holy shit, dude. Okay, well, this was worth getting up for, I suppose. Firewall Dragon, ladies. There's no way this can be right. There's no way. That's TCG. Firewall Dragon. Oh my, they brought him back. They fucking brought back Firewall Dragon. I'm in shock. I am just in pure shock right now. I'm also like half asleep, but like there's something to wake you up. It's Firewall Dragon coming back off the ban list. Okay, it's on more than one official source, so this isn't like bait or anything. All right, let's see the errata. So you can only use this card's name 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. Okay, that's good. I mean, basically that's what everyone said the card needs to do, is that it has to have that sort of restriction on the card. Like, there's no other way Firewall can functionally exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Without having once per turn clauses on the card. The effect to bounce cards, that's probably like whatever. Like, yeah, that's degenerate, especially because you can help you like loot more of your stuff as well as bounce your opponent's stuff. But the effect of just getting able to summon infinitely, that had to go. Like, there's no way that could have existed. The changes are in bold, so... Oh, wow. Okay, you can special summon one Cyberse monster from your hand. That changes a lot. Wow. So now you can only play this in cyberspace decks because there's no point to play this otherwise? Oh, man. Okay, so like Code Talker decks can play this. Those are actually kind of popular in the OCG. Salamangreat can play this. I don't know if Salamangreat needs to play this, but it could. They're all cyber, so that's interesting. It can also easily get up into a Link 4, so yeah, okay. It's been nerfed. It's been nerfed into the ground, so I'm not feeling too bad about that. It's definitely nowhere near as good as it used to be. It's just going to be like a nice extender. I'm going to say this reluctantly. I think this is fine. I'm not a fan of errata. I feel like if you're going to errata a card, you should just make a new card and just have it be inspired by the banned card. This is like where a card like Pot of Desires came from, right? It's Pot of Greed, but you also have to banish the top 10 of your deck. I wish they would have just made like, I don't know. You know, like that Firewall Dragon horse card that they just printed, like I think in the V-Jump for Japan. I wish that was a Link 4 and basically was the errated version of Firewall. Just because, I don't know, like it's galloping back into the format. Who knows? All right, let's just get into the other stuff. Forbidden. Okay. Grinder Golem. Okay, makes sense. Like I mean, it was on the cover, so that's not like really a surprise. I do not know how Grinder Golem has existed in the game when Link Cross has been banned. That just makes no sense to me whatsoever. Token producing cards are basically always going to have a target on their back as long as links exist, and Grinder Golem was one of the biggest offenders with Akashic Magician, so that had to go. Oh, that's it for the bans. Does that matter? I mean, Virtual World, kind of. That's good. Eldritch, I don't really feel like needs bans, but they do things very differently in the OCG, so I don't know. Let's go ahead and get on to Limited now and see. Red Reboot from 2 to 1. Okay, that's a change that I think is fine. We have Red Reboot at 1 here in the TCG, and this is kind of a way to kind of, I guess, allow back row decks to have a little bit more of a chance. Red Reboot at 3 is just broken. Like, it allows any non-back row focused deck to just have an unfair way to interact, and so I think this is fine. There's really not much to say here. That's something that's actually a good change that the OCG is probably taking from us, which doesn't happen too often, by the way. Nadir's Servant going from 2 to 1. Okay, so yeah, for people who don't know, Nadir's Servant was actually semi-limited over in the OCG, and to be fair, Dogmatica Invoked is a much, much stronger deck because, as you could see from the pie chart, they're a much more control-oriented format. Like, this is control, 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 like, through and through. So this deck, even with two Nadir Servant, was still incredibly potent, and I guess seeing with the way the format's going, that's really weird, though. I haven't finished getting through the limited list, and they're hitting Nadir Servant, but, like, I don't think they've had many hits to Eldritch over there, so that's a bit interesting. Let me actually check. Have they hit Eldritch? Let's go down to the Eldritch list. No, they still have 3 Sanguine. They still have 3 Conquistador. Wakero is not limited. I 100% know that. Golden Land is still at 3. Golden Lord is still at 3, I think. So, yeah, if they're going to do this to Invoked, or Dogmatica, rather, they have to do something to Eldritch, because that just doesn't seem like fair. Pancratops to 1. Okay, yeah, we have Pancratops to 1 here. This is understandable. I'm of the opinion that this card is actually fine at 3. It's extraordinarily powerful, especially if you're going second, but, like, we need cards like that. Like, Pancratops is a great equalizer, and I feel like there aren't many. Well, now we have Zoo King Alpha, so, like, honestly, I think this is more so that they can just push Alpha more than anything. But if it wasn't for that, I think Pancratops would be fine at 3. I just think they want the people to play Alpha more. Let's move on here. Yep, Firewall Dragon, errata. Okay, like, man, I had a heart attack when I saw that for a second. Thank God it's errata. Okay. Ooh, wow. So that's it for the limits. They really don't think Eldritch is a problem? That's interesting. Or Virtual World, by the way. VFD is still legal, at least so far. I mean, but even then, even with 2 VFD, Virtual World functionally still does the same thing. Interesting. Okay, moving on along then. Semi-limited. Let's see. Duloran going to 2. Oh, wait. Doesn't Duloran have an errata? I think it might. I don't remember for sure, but I know they just came out with the Ice Barrier structure deck in the OCG, or it's about to come out, one or the other. So Duloran is either, this is to, like, promote that, or Duloran's been errated. I can't remember which one it is. But yeah, that's fine. They wouldn't have done that without good reason. Plus, it's also like Duloran loops are so like 2009. So I don't know if that's really a thing. Wind Up Magician to 2. Sure, it's like Wind Up Magician. Who's playing Wind Ups in 2020? Like I don't understand. I also think Hunter's banned over there too. So like that doesn't matter in the slightest. Junk Speeder going to 2. That's a card that they have limited as well. I don't think anyone's playing any sort of synchro-oriented deck, so more power to them. Junk Speed, especially they have Max C. Like, are you going to play a Junk Speeder deck when Max C is at 3? Are you out of your mind? Yeah, good luck with that. Whatever. Magical Meltdown to 2. Okay, so this is a slight check on the... Wow, so this is like an Invoke Dogmatica hit once again. I guess like it's like invoked in general, but still... And with no Eldritch hit, like this is just a consistency hit. This doesn't really change the deck's functionality whatsoever. You're just not going to see Alistair, you know, nearly as much. You go from like 6 Alistairs down to 5. That's fine. Like the people are still going to play the deck. That's not going to change much. This is why I hate the semi-limited list. Like it just has such a marginal impact on everything. Oh, okay. So Cursed Eldland going to 2. That, okay, at least there's like, they're being balanced with these things. You know, at least if they move this to 2, this is also getting moved to 2. So, again, similar to the Magical Meltdown hit, it doesn't change the way the deck plays. You just have one less of each of these cards. And so you have one less piece of your engine. And does that matter? Yeah, like in the overall like probability and statistics of like how efficiently and frequently you're going to see these types of cards, it does matter, but the deck is not unplayable because these cards went to 2. Not in the slightest. And so I'm just surprised that they were so kind of blasé with that deck, and they just only hit Eldland to 2. That's just a bit odd to me. No longer on list. Fossil Dig to 3. Yeah, they've had Fossil Dig semi-limited over there. Dinosaur doesn't really do a whole lot in the OCG. I think they have multiple other... I think Oviraptor's at 1... And I think they have another card or 2that are also hit, so Dinosaur just isn't nearly as good. Plus, again, Max C with all the swarming, maybe it's just not nearly as viable. Tour Guide to 3, we have this here in the TCG, and it's basically done nothing, even though the deck is, like, rogue at best. Cool to see that they have it going to 3. Dark Grepher to 3. You know, no one would have been thinking in their right mind that Dark Grepher should have gone to 3 a few years ago when Orcus was, like, best deck, but, I mean... Put it to 3, I suppose. There's not a single dark deck, I think, on this entire... Oh, it's up here. I don't think there's a single dark deck on here. I guess Thunder, kind of. I mean, Shadal is, but would Shadal even play Dark Refer? I don't even know. I don't even think it needs to play it. So this is actually kind of cool. So I actually went back to YGORG, and I found that they actually gave justifications for each of these hits that they did on the ban list. This is something that they used to do way back in the day, and I think the OCG still does this, but it's cool to see this. So I just want to cover this quickly. So Grinder Golem was forbidden due to its previous history with Akashic Magician and Firewall Dragon. With Firewall Dragon, it can be looped, albeit slower, to create intensely strong fields for little to no cost. Yes, okay, so I guess if they've now errated Firewall, this, because you could go like Grinder Golem, get the 2 tokens, and then you Akashic bounce it back, Grinder Golem again, get 2 more tokens, go Firewall, bounce it back again. Okay, that makes sense, and again, like, with it errated, I don't even think it would matter all that much, but you basically have Grinder Golem becomes like a 1-card Link 6, I think, if you did that. So, yeah, I mean, this card should have gone like years ago, but whatever. Pankratops was hit for too many high-level monsters being able to be summoned easily altogether, and Alpha has more restrictions involved. Yeah, okay, Konami has more restrictions. Yeah, they just want to sell Alpha, let's be honest. Nadir Servant is a key card for the expansion and strategy of Dogmatica. Multiple copies make Dogmatica extremely powerful. Thus, it's been limited to the bottleneck that power and utility. Yeah, I mean, it's justified. I think that's like fine. Again, the deck's still going to be played, but Nadir Servant going down definitely hurts because now you're just really hurting the consistency of the deck. Red Reboot, too strong due to being able to be activating from the hand. It heavily punishes Eldritch and other decks that rely on a large number of traps. Hopefully, with it being throttled, players will be encouraged to play trap cards. It's interesting because with Eldritch being one of the top decks and they're actually limiting Red Reboot, it's just like an interesting kind of like juxtaposition of direction, but Cursed Eldland allows Eldritch decks to easily add cards every turn, and hoping by semi-limiting it, the deck will be bottlenecked somewhat. Yeah, I mean, reducing consistency, I don't think Eldritch is going anywhere. I think Eldritch actually came out of this pretty clean, to be fair. Magical Meltdown synergizes with Dogmatica too much. You can easily add Alistair the Invoker. By semi-limiting, it's hoped the deck will be bottlenecked somewhat in terms of power. People are still going to play it. Like, 2 Magical Meltdowns not going to stop people from playing Invoke Dogmatica. Dark Refer replaces Darks in the graveyard is expected to be not too much trouble in the current metagame environment. You say that, but the next time you release a dark deck, you're going to regret that you put Dark Refer to 3. Tour Guide, it's expected with the current metagame environment, shouldn't be a real issue. Yeah, we've seen that here in the TCG. Granted, the formats are drastically different. I don't think they have anything to worry about. And that's it, but I thought that was actually pretty cool, and wow. Firewall Dragon's back. That means, ladies and gentlemen, that they are going to bring that errata here to the TCG eventually, because there's very few instances where they don't. And so maybe for our March ban list, we might be getting some sort of, oh God, they're releasing that Ghosts of the Past product in like, are they going to put Firewall in that with the errata? Oh my God, that would be the perfect product to put Firewall in. It's haunting, it's gonna give people PTSD, and it makes sense. Oh man, well, we might be getting Firewall back even quicker than we might think, but it's probably not gonna be too bad. So guys, that's gonna do it for the OCG Banlist reaction. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Again, apologies for being half asleep on this one, but man, if there's anything to wake you up in the morning, it is definitely an OCG ban list with Firewall Dragon. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.